This week, I chose violence. I said during the last episode that it was a quiet one and that sometimes you need a break after back-to-back episodes of craziness, and, well, consider it the calm before the storm, because you know for sure, the storm isn't just what's coming this episode, it's what's going to come as a result of it. Welcome back to episode 5 of Fire Emblem Co-op. Today, we release the Shackles. Let's start by talking about Chapter 16. Like I mentioned earlier, Path of Radiance has these weird chapters that are kind of filler chapters in the middle of the game that seem to sort of be training arcs for Ike just before he promotes. They're easy, full of fighters and soldiers, and just fodder units in general, and they have some decent gear that you can get. This one is no different, and that's good for me because it's time for Project Braum to start getting off the floor. Of course, with the score so close here, this might also be the last time I will be starting in last place, so I need to use that to my advantage. The real target in this chapter are the chests in the middle of the map. There's a Draco Shield in there that will be important for the development of Kieran's bulk, and a Full Guard, which is just an excellent item overall in this kind of run to avoid effective damage. Getting those will be important, and since I no longer have the chest keys, I'm going to have to use up one of my very valuable unit slots on Soth to open the chests. Outside of that, on this map we have the Devdan recruitment, but he can only be recruited by the child characters Rolf, Mist, Soth, Soren, and Tormod. I'm certainly not going to recruit him, and Rolf and Mist are dead, which leaves only Tormod to recruit him, who Jae has. I never asked Jae if he'd recruit him for Speedy, but it's a close game, so I have no idea what he'd do here. We'd just have to let the chapter play out. I also take the chance to forge a maxed out steel lance for Braum because I don't know if I'll ever get access to the forge again, so might as well take it while I can. So the positioning happens and the chapter starts. Of course, I have 8-move Kieran and 7-move Braum right at the center front of my army, which means I will be moving as fast as I can to not only sweep kills along the way, but also make it to the central room for chests. During battle preps, Speedy says he's given up on bringing Volk, and honestly, I feel that. He keeps saying how starved he is over there in first place, and he's absolutely right. He's moving last, which means he's the last to be able to kill units, but he also has Ilyana and Nephany, who are pure growth units that depend on bonus EXP and getting kills on maps to level up and perform. He also has not had access to the Forge in like 10 chapters because, well, he's just been in first place the entire time, which means that even when he does get an enemy left alive that he can kill, it takes all of his units to take it down. And to add to that, I don't know who Speedy has hurt recently, but these Oscar level ups have been completely atrocious to the point where he's just been relegated to doing chip damage most of the time. Granted, he does end up getting a decent chunk of EXP from chip damage because he's so bulky, he just survives everything. But if I was in that position, I'd rather he kill instead. Jae continues to be competitive here with his Marcia, who is really rather decent. She's nothing special in terms of average stats, but a flyer with Kanto and decent strength will always do pretty well overall. He also brought Tormod, who he seems to want to train, and I respect that greatly. Just like I dedicated myself to Braum, a normally never used character, Tormod tends to be in that boat too, given he's a mage in Path of Radiance. Now, you've been watching the start of this for a little while, so it's time to talk about a big near miss that almost cost me dearly. I've been moving Soth rather freely throughout this map, and not really worried about a one-shot. I move just in range of a fighter that has a hand axe, and Speedy immediately jumps in with a, "Hey Jae, you gotta let Soth eat it here," remark. Not unexpected. It's co-op, and having an easy death utility unit go down isn't a bad idea to try and knock me down in points, especially after the boots move in the last stream. But I don't understand why there would be an alliance or an agreement here. The scores are very, very close. Normally, people would salivate at the thought of a free kill, which Jae could easily get for Tormod or Speedy for one of his units, but they mutually decide to just leave the fighter alone to attack Soth. Jae does say he thinks he'll go for Mordecai since he's untransformed, which does make sense, but little did I know that this fighter actually also had a steel axe, which puts Soth in exact one-shot range of him with about a 60% hit chance. Lucky for me, Soth actually dodges, and I immediately rescue him with Ike to take that out of the equation. I managed to dodge a huge bullet here that would have screwed up my entire run if he'd died, especially the plan for the chests this chapter. We continue moving onward with nothing crazy happening, and Mordecai transforms to start wreaking havoc like he usually does. This Mordecai has been quite special, especially his continuous speed level ups, so I looked it up. Mordecai has a 50% speed growth, which actually isn't bad at all. He's just speed blessed on top of that, which makes him incredibly strong. And in line with that, Speedy has Morim, the other target, and they make quick and easy work of the boss room. I continue to beeline for the room with the chests, and Speedy follows me with Oscar since he has a chest key on him and tries to steal one. But with proper spacing and counting, I'm able to get the first chest while blocking Speedy from getting the second one so I can snatch it on the turn after. So now I have both the full guard and the Draco shield, which is nice. Now at this point the map is pretty much done. I have Braum in the room at the top right corner, which I honestly have no idea what's in there, but he destroys the halberdier in there and manages to pick up a chest key as well as some nice EXP. Devdan is also still alive. I really want to turn over a new leaf. I really do.
Who could have seen this coming? I could.
I really do.
Link, please, I'll give you anything. Please.
But it's like, the problem is that this is chat's fault, and I'm going to say this here and not in the video. See, you know how, like, the shark in Finding Nemo's a good guy, but then he gets, like, a sniff of blood and he goes crazy and turns into the bad guy? The problem is that chat, way back when, forced me to attack Jill. And I've been holding it together. I've been holding it together all this time.
Oh yeah?
I've just been, it's been really hard.
Look what you did. Look what you did, chat.
And I don't, like, my heart's beating. My eyes are dilated. Like, you know Professor Lupin in, like, the third Harry Potter movie when he sees the moon and Sirius Black tries to, like, calm him down? That's what I'm feeling right now. It's like Kieran, he sees the halberdier kill. He sees, like, the experience points. He smells the blood.
But Devdan's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
You wouldn't kill him, would you?
He's a red unit, though.
Were we wrong?
Red units count for your
Link?
your little chart that you put in your video where you're like, direct kills from SpeedyHawk. You're gonna add to that.
I am gonna add to that, but you've already added to that.
Please, I'll do anything.
Oh, okay. What are you gonna do?
You could kill him. I've accepted I'm not recruiting him. It's like over for him.
Dun-na. Dun-na. Dun-na.
The shark's coming.
Dun-na. 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 Dun-na.
He just wants to help the kids, man. Please. Please. He wants to help the kids.
Oh, he asks for forgiveness. Now I actually feel bad.
You feel like
I
a
feel
bad
bad
guy.
now. Now I actually feel bad.
What have you done?
It's over.
Oh, no. No. You killed Raven.
Bummer, dude.
He's actually a nice guy.
Oh, he's a great guy.
And so I decided to just kill him. At this point, I'm still not sure if Jay is going to go over there and recruit him for Speedy or not, and I decide to play it safe. Honestly, I genuinely forgot how nice of a guy Devdan is, and I do kind of regret killing him. I could have just rushed the objective and kept him alive and not had that blood on my hands, but I didn't remember until I saw his combat and death quotes. This is one that I'd kind of want to take back if I could. After that, the chapter kind of closed itself out. Speedy managed to get the last bit of EXP on Oscar that he needed to promote, despite his abysmal level ups, so now he has the first promotion of the stream and 5 extra points. Jay's Mordecai untransformed, and with Morim on the other side of the map, the boss kill gets left to me to get with Kieran, which I swiftly take along with the objective on the following turn. I also split the chests in the top right with Speedy, snagging a goddess icon while he gets a silver lance. Between the level ups, map objectives, map MVP, and chat vote, I end up gaining a whopping 18 points that chapter to put me in first place. Now I'm ahead of Speedy, with Jay getting last place. With how close the score was, a swing like this was inevitable, but now I don't think I can look back. Chapter 17 is where I make my move, so strap in. This is going to be a decently long prep phase as I explain my plans coming together. There are a couple of reasons for this chapter in specific. One, I'm now very far away from last place by a decent margin, so there's no hope of slowly dwindling down to take that spot again unless I kill off a unit on purpose. 2, I need to start putting things in motion before the sabotages come back in Chapter 18. Once those are back in, my vulnerable units will probably be the target of both Speedy and Jae's sabotages, though Jae's been pretty nice to me so far this run, so maybe not. First off, I let Speedy and Jae do their management. Jae decides to splurge on a forged steel lance for Marcia and max it out in every category for over 8,000 gold. He has the money for it, this is what we used to do as kids, so pop off Jae, I'm all for it. Speedy puts a bolting tome on Ilyana and everyone kinda gears up a bit for the long 4-part chapter to come. Once they're done, I take my turn to prep. Let's talk about the first part of the plan, the bonus EXP. If you've noticed, I have used only a very small fraction of the bonus EXP I've been gaining over the last couple of weeks, and it's all to wait for this specific moment. Braum and Kieran both got a decent amount of EXP in the last chapter, and I think it's time that both of them promoted. Daybreaks isn't a great chapter, and having 2 solid cornerstones will make it much easier to clear and work our way through. I decided to start with the mascot of this run, Braum, because the promotion is most important to him at this point. He managed to level up 3 times in the last map, which was huge because I had more than enough bonus EXP to get him the 5 levels all the way to 25 for his promotion. This leaves me with just enough Bex to then turn around and give Kieran the last level he needs to also promote. I had 766 EXP before this, and I am left with 8, which translated to 6 level ups and 2 promotions, which all of a sudden surges my points total up by a whopping 22 total points. And that brings me to part 2 of the plan. While I did say in the last video that the score is the closest it has ever been, I've always been in first place, just from the shadows. I purposely held back on bonus EXP to let it accumulate until the time was right for me to leap into first. I wouldn't have been able to do this if my units weren't performing well, and also having a combination of some bad level ups on Oscar, as well as Nephany and Ilyana's slow starts, and another slow start on Marcia with delayed Mordecai dominance. Because of that, I was able to keep pace with Kieran, Braum, and Leith until this very chapter where I can finally let it all loose. You can call me Rock Lee over here because we're dropping the training weights, and I don't have any reason to stay in last place anymore. We're solidly in the mid-game, and this is when Fire Emblem expects your units to start rolling, and so the training wheels are off. Chapter 17 specifically also has a lot of reasons to not want to be in last place. In Part 3 and 4, Ike is weighed down by Lian, effectively making him a chip damage unit and a liability at some times. I don't need him anymore. In addition to that, he can't keep pace with my now 8-move General Braum and 9-move Kieran and Leith, so he won't line up like they used to unless I purposely slow myself down. In addition to that, now that I have units that can actually kill on enemy phase, I can wait for everyone else to move before deciding where I want to go and place my units. During this prep phase, I also roided up Kieran with a bunch of stat boosters. He got the Seraph robe that I've been holding onto for the last 5 chapters. The reason I didn't use it earlier is because Kieran and Braum both usually get near the pre-promotion HP cap, but Kieran's HP falls off after he promotes, so he needs this rope to stay afloat and keep pace. In addition to that, Braum is simply super tanky and doesn't really take damage, and with his 75% HP growth, even though mine is 3 points behind in HP, he should be able to catch up and have some decent HP by the end game to increase his survivability. I also decided to give Kieran the Draco Shield secret book and Vantage skill here. There wasn't really too much logic or thought put into this other than if he rushes ahead and hits a bunch of enemies and doesn't finish them, then maybe he can do it on enemy phase without having to take another hit, just as insurance. I don't know if I'll go the Wrath route on him. I'd need to get it in the first place and I have no idea where it is, but sitting under 50% HP in co-op makes me a little bit nervous for obvious reasons. Anyways, I know that was long-winded, but this has been a long time coming, so I kind of needed to explain the logic behind all the moves that were being made. I am now completely out of stat boosters, skills, and most importantly, bonus EXP. I've accumulated 22 points added onto my total and am now over 20 points ahead of Speedy and solidly in first place, which means I just need to push forward and not look back. Chapter 17 is an interesting one because it's a series of 4 chapters with no base camp in the middle. What you bring to it is what you have for those 4 chapters and you need to deal with it. It's also slightly less forgiving as the enemies become tougher, have poison weapons, and there is terrain that hinders your movement. I'm personally only going to bring Kieran, Braum, and Leith, since they're the ones who I feel can comfortably survive this gauntlet, and away we go. Part 1 went pretty well, and the newfound combo of Kieran and Braum dominated the map. Nothing can touch them, they have high move, and charge ahead with little care in the world. I have 2 juggernauts on my hand and I don't need to worry about not killing most of the time. Nor do I need to worry about feeding kills anymore either because everyone's leveled up. Leith is also there as a cleanup crew member to pick off anything that remains, and my units slice through this map like a hot knife through butter. I can't say the same for Speedy and Jay, however, as they're left in the back and struggle to deal with a pair of armors, both due to their tankiness but also some bad RNG. They do eventually successfully take care of the enemies in the back while feeding kills to units like Ilyana, Tormod, Nephany, and Marcia to slowly level up. Mordecai, of course as usual, comes in clutch once he transforms and does some real damage, but otherwise Part 1 was mostly uneventful. Part 2 was where the true action begins. It's an interesting map because it's an arrive map. Enemy cavs will rush you down from the left side, which ambushes you from behind as you try to get to the arrive point on the right side. There are also some wyverns here who we haven't really seen yet in this game, and we start to see some promoted enemies with a pair of paladins. We mostly pushed up and to the right, which is where I sent Kieran and Leaf, but I doubled back and went to the left with Braum when I noticed all of the Cavaliers. I kind of just wanted the EXP for the most part, but Braum ended up not doubling most of the enemies, so it wasn't the best decision. Speedy was there with me and helped clean up with Oscar and got another atrocious level, which prompts Speedy to say he's going to bench him. I honestly don't blame him. This Oscar is terribly RNG screwed. Out of curiosity, I decided to look up the average stats for a level 2 Paladin Oscar, and here's how Speedy's compares. He's nearly a whole 6 points behind in HP, 3 points behind in strength, 1 point behind in skill and speed, 1 ahead in defense, and 2 ahead in res. We can't even effectively call him Tank Oscar because the HP isn't that great either, and with the lack of any sort of forged weapon, he's really just having a terrible time. Anyways, that's not what's exciting about this map, because the left side was just the sideshow to the main performance. Jay and I are pushing on with our units to try and reach the arrive tile. He tries to see if he can fly through the trees, which doesn't work, unfortunately, so he positions himself just outside the range of an archer to bait the soldier. I also see there's a bow cav over there with 2 other cavs and a paladin, as well as a wyvern. Marcia only has 25 HP, and while she's speedy and has decent defenses, she can't survive multiple rounds of being hit, especially not from 2 archers. The soldier moves on enemy phase and chunks Marcia for 7 or 8 damage, I can't remember exactly how much it was, but this immediately triggers my response. This Marcia has been pretty good, and she's set up a lot of kills and real estate for Jay over the last few chapters. He also gets Tanith in Chapter 18, and if 1 flyer was causing these issues, then 2 are going to be a problem. I also just don't have a better plan for my sabotage right now and figured I'd need to strike while the iron is hot. Of the units on the board, the best 2 that aren't mine are Mordecai and Marcia, with Marcia being more consistent and having more utility. So I decided that, for the second time, I would attempt to sabotage Jay's flyer, and hopefully this time I would be successful.
One day.
Sabotage.
Okay. All right. Well, it was a good run.
Whoa! We need her.
No, we don't.
This guy's he's not gonna hit. That's a 32, bro. You better hope this hits.
It was nice while it lasted.
She still has a chance.
I immediately yelled sabotage and moved Marcia into range of the bow cav and attacked with a javelin, making sure to keep her in the range of the other archer and a bunch of the cavs as well as the wyvern. Of course, the bow cav only has like a 35% hit rate or something on her, but if it hit, it would have been a one-shot, so that's what I went for. He obviously missed, and so now her fate is in the hands of the enemy phase, but I think I did a good enough job here. Jay frantically tries to move his units in to save her, but they are too far. We will just have to wait and see. Will she be the second coming of Tana? Or will I finally get justice for Kyle?
Moment of truth. See if this actually works.
Dude, there's no shot that she gets hit a single time.
I think she's dead. There's no way.
I think she's just fine. Okay, maybe not.
No, there's no way, dude. There's so many units over there.
Yell it, Jay. Yell it. You didn't yell it.
There's no way I dodged that, bro. There's no way.
You didn't use the attack, man.
No, dude. That was an archer, bro. There's no way.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah?
Can I buy a forge from you, dude?
buy a forge from me?
I'll pay double, bro. Please, I just need to forge something, man. I'm fucking I'm losing my mind. I can't play the game.
Marcia goes down, Jay takes his second -25 of the run, and me, I've been saying from the start of the stream that I'm turning over a new leaf. And I have. I've finally drawn blood from a sabotage. That's my new leaf. Evil Speedy thought he was rising from the ashes to wreak havoc on this run, but the real villain doesn't truly emerge until the second half of the game anyways. The smell of blood, death, and destruction throughout the run has drawn me from my mostly pacifistic position out into the open. And now I have the blood of not one, but 2 units on my hands this chapter. I won't dodge claims. I won't shift blame. This was entirely cold, calculated, and opportunistic. The silence is deafening. The tension is palpable. I can feel the anger, despair, fear, loathing, and shock. Of course, I know this feeling all too well. I've experienced it too. But now it was my turn to inflict it upon another. And the result? Triumph. Jade recovers and rushes the objective with Mordecai to finish off the map, and we proceed to part 3. The smell of melancholy dominates the air, almost as if we won the battle, but at a steep cost, and that cost was Marcia. Part 3 is actually a tough one sometimes, but I'm not worried. Between Braum and Kieran, I'm feeling pretty confident in whatever segment I take care of. Jay and Speedy each start off the map by taking positions in the swamp, while I clear out the top left corner. By removing the enemies behind us, it makes it easier to hold up against the ones that charge from the front. Somehow, Jay and Speedy managed to hold through an onslaught of mages from the right side just long enough for me to get Kieran and Braum down towards the bottom. I tell Speedy to stand his ground here with Morim, and I'll help remove another mage from the area. He does, and we manage to control the swath of enemies coming from the south. That's what I call co-op! After that, this map completely falls apart. Ilyana had a particularly dominating performance against the mages in the top right corner, and she's really showing how strong she's becoming. Braum and Kieran continue to level up well and both reach level 3 on this map, so I decided to look at my averages and see how my boys are doing. It's a mixed bag, but for the most part we're doing okay. Let's start with Braum. For a general, he's a bit HP screwed, being behind on his HP stat by about 3 points. He compensates for this by being 1 ahead on strength, 2 ahead on speed, and 1 ahead in defense. He has also slowed down his speed growth, as he hasn't gotten a single point since that level 14 or 15 level up that he got. I kinda wished he would have continued to get a couple more, since he's right at that threshold where he'd double everything but not quite past it. Maybe the next few levels will get him there. This is where the Night Ward would have been extremely helpful. Kieran, on the other hand, is turning into a monster, but not without a massive amount of investment. Just to summarize what he's gotten, I've given him a Seraph Robe, an Energy Drop, 2 Sacred Books, a Speed Wings, and 2 Draco Shields. And actually, if you take away all of those, he's mostly average or below average. Without all the stat boosters, he would be average in HP, 2 points ahead in strength, 3 points behind in skill, average speed, 3 points ahead in luck, 2 points behind in defense, and average in resistance. His only real above average stat is strength. I mean, I know luck is there, but that's a meme, and he usually caps his strength anyways. Everything else is actually leveling up rather normally, only propped up by the steroids I've pumped into him. But I have no one else I'd rather give it to, so it's okay. If he needs it to become a superpower, then I'm okay with that. Aside from that, that's pretty much this part complete. We decide to leave the final part of Chapter 17 to next stream. We'll be able to finish it, and then the sabotages return. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be in trouble from here on out because of the progress I've made in this one. In the previous stream, we ended off with an 89, 85, and 84 point split, and it was super close. This time, I end with a whopping 146 points, which is a massive increase of 62 points, which is, again, 33 points ahead of Speedy, who ends with an increase of 24 points at a total of 113, who again in turn is 34 points ahead of Jay, who finishes in last with a net negative 6 points at 79 points total due to the death of Marcia. I've blown this stream wide open now with this explosive week, and I know for a fact there's a massive target on my back from here on out. Next time, the sabotages all return, and I'm gearing up for a bloodbath. But that's a story for next time, and I'll see you all in another video very soon. Peace.